If it's 6 o'clock.
I feel like, I mean, I'll continue to look, but I feel like we can
We-
count Scott as our
we
part of our
will.
quorum.
We
Yeah.
will anyway.
Yep.
Just started recording and it's measuring time.
Okay. It being 6 o'clock, I will call the Finance Committee meeting to order for December 11th. I believe that we have a functioning quorum. Let's go around and get confirmation of who is here.
Dana DaCosta here?
Dana DaCosta,
Dan Twerk.
Dan Quark,
Tina Gaines.
in Games, Bob McCready, and on remote we have
Here, Scott Norm.
Scott Norum.
Right.
Okay.
We could probably move you up closer to, no.
Yeah, that's my job.
The agenda for tonight, actually I'm going to take stuff slightly out of order. I had sent out my current draft of the Finance Committee's annual report to people. I have to submit it before we have another meeting, so I wanted people to have a chance to look at it and comment to the extent they want to. I basically did take last year's and update it to the extent I thought was necessary. And so I would like to see if anyone has any comments they would like to make with regard to that document.
I'm good.
Yes,
Okay,
I
by
have,
me.
one comment. The representatives on the Capital Outlay Committee need to be updated to Michelle and me.
No, this is for this is a report for last year.
Oh,
Changes everything.
It's a report that will go in the book, that is the book for
Calendar
For
year,
that-
yeah.
For the the calendar year, so 2025. Okay, I thought it was fiscal year.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was fiscal year too,
Oh, maybe it is, but
because
I
all the
think-
information in it is last
yeah,
year's,
yeah.
last
And in
fiscal
that
year.
It's all about last year
Last
anyway.
fiscal
Yeah.
year.
In that case, I wasn't part of that, and neither was the other Mark. Yeah.
Right, but
Okay.
you were voted to be on this committee at the annual meeting, which is included, the annual meeting in May. You were, but not voted, approved by,
I wasn't voted until, I think, July, and then my first meeting was August.
So you did not get appointed at the May
Right.
town meeting, that's important.
That's correct. I did not get appointed at the
Okay.
Maytown meeting,
Did,
and neither did the other Mark.
they did not get appointed. That's
Mhm.
usually when
Yeah,
Michael Ford makes his appointments.
yep. It came late, if
It
you
was
all
later.
remember. It
Okay,
kind of
that's good to-
dragged,
that's good to know.
yeah, it
Thank
dragged
you.
out.
It depends on the dating, because
Well, I'll pull it up,
Finance
'cause-
Committee members are on until July 15th is the end of their term, because of the
The way the charter is written.
the ability to vote on the transfers at the end of
Oh,
the year
at the
before
end
they
of the year.
close the
Okay.
books. They allow Finance Committee members to stay on until
Right.
then.
Scott, I will review that, but I believe that, what I know is I put the people in that were on the committee through last fiscal year, that were on the Capital Outlay Committee.
so ending June 30th, 2025?
Yes, June 30th, 2025, right.
Well, I think I was on the Capital Outlay Committee then.
Yes, you were, but the other position at last year, fiscal year, was Mark, before he was moved to the select board.
Right.
So
Before the election.
Let me verify the dating on that
Contact.
report. Okay, thank you.
And just for clarification, I've got August 8th is when I was appointed. I've got confirmation, and I was sworn in August 8th. That's when I
No,
got
that's
my,
not-
yeah.
That'll
I'm
be in next
interested
year's
in-
book all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really interested in the appointment, but,
Yeah, yeah, the
so
appointment,
probably you and
August
Mark
8th,
were probably
appointments,
appointed
yep.
at about the same time.
August 8th.
Okay,
It was myself and the other Mark.
Mark, yeah,
Yep.
right.
So August 8th is when we got our appointment letters. See, it was dated August 8th.
I
There you go.
believe you.
I can send that to you. Myself and the other Mark.
And you probably needed the day to go get sworn in anyways.
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
well, there it is.
no worries. Sure, face it right.
Okay, thank you. But otherwise, people are okay with the document that was sent out? Yes, 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 yes. And and Scott, you're okay too?
I'm okay, except I'm still confused with the dates, because I think I'm in my second year on the Capital Outlay Committee, so I just don't know how the letter works.
Okay.
In terms
I will check
Time
on,
slots.
I will check on the timing, thank you.
of, okay, thanks.
All right. There's an item in here which we don't need to take up, which is the Monomoy School Agreement. That got on here because I did the agenda while Select Board Member Kelleher had contacted me, asked me to put it on here, expecting the possibility of there being something taken up by the Select Board before our meeting, but it was not, and so we are in no position to have, in fact, have a discussion. The capital outlay plan, as I understand it, was voted, has been voted by the Capital Outlay Committee, and will be, as was identified as a possibility, will be presented at the December 22nd Select Board meeting. I am still trying to conclude on whether, in fact, I can generate a quorum from this committee to be there. Want to confirm, I think I have a confirmation from you. Dan, can you be at the December 22nd Select Board meeting?
I will be out of town,
Out of town.
yeah. Visiting my grandkids.
Tina?
I found out about it last night, and yes, I can be there.
I'm gonna hand these out. I'll
Yes.
just do that.
Which I think gets me a quorum. And I think
Yes,
Scott, yes, but remote. You're
That's correct.
you're not coming back for the meeting, Nick.
I'll be back in late March.
There you go.
Online until then.
Okay.
This is what
The,
the acting town administrator put out for the capital plan.
yes, which is, I think the same,
I think
is it
this
the
is the
same as
same
the
one
one
that
that
we
you,
got.
Yeah,
the one that
Yeah.
you passed out
Okay, yeah.
last meeting,
yeah.
I believe?
Yep.
And the only thing I did to this one is I attached,
You had attached,
we're gonna start getting into reasons
You
for our votes.
oh.
So I started putting some sample reasons together for that.
Okay.
And those, I just put the customary articles on there to begin with, but just to let you all know that I'm on the case. as it were.
Absolutely.
I have
I
them
appreciate
all
it.
ready, and I went through them, and there's a whole bunch of, in addition to the customary articles, there's a whole bunch of traditional articles, like the budgets and capital outlay plan, votes for funding, and then there's the CPC articles, and they all more or less have the same kind of format and everything. The only ones that tend to get really weird are when there's petition articles and things like that, things that we really have a problem with sometimes. And then there's the, this year we'll have to take a close look at the article that authorizes the revolving funds and see if changes have shown up there or if we're gonna have to do something.
And yes, we will. You may have noticed I did include it again with a little updated wording in the report to
Yep.
not let that slide.
Yep.
And I think we continue to bring the topic up, because it does have various ramifications in a variety of ways. Even though this presentation on the capital outlay plan, again, for joint meeting purposes, is the 22nd, I thought I would use this meeting to see if people wanted to identify from their review of what was made available, now before the last meeting in terms of the committee's output that was included in a package from the town administrator, again, back before our last meeting, as to whether there were certain topics that people, certain items from the plan that people wanted to engage in any conversation on this evening, any specifics that for some reason had gotten their particular attention and they wanted to bring up for discussion. So let me simply go around the table again and see if anyone has particulars that they would like to talk about, starting with Dana.
The only one that really, I mean, as I said last time when he was here, this is the best capital plan I've seen in a decade, so I had very little negative comments on it. The only question mark I have is, you know, the Harwich Elementary School has 0 for 5 years, and I'm assuming that everything is just hunky-dory there and don't need to do anything major there. But like other things in life, there may be an asterisk there that we don't know about, and that would just be a question I would ask at some point.
Because you're exactly right, the line item is in here with a blank, basically.
Right.
And
And we know it's a building, and we know that not all the buildings need something in the capital plan every single year, but a building of that age probably has something going on that we should know about, either on the 4th or 5th year in the horizon, or maybe it's gonna be on next year's, I don't know, but.
And it certainly could be presumed, I think, that that it's here as a placeholder
Right.
for
Right.
perhaps something still coming. Again, these were, I don't know if the product that was actually voted has made any additions or changes to this.
Yeah.
This is what we had available. We'll
right.
find out again on the 22nd.
Yeah.
New information. And yes, I repeat the same thing, that having the work that was done to do a version of the plan by funding and a version of the plan by category, both
Yeah.
nice new additions that try to lay out
Yeah.
exactly information. The attachments in that original package didn't cover, they weren't all of the submissions, but they covered certainly
Yeah.
a number of the main ones between the fire department, police department, facilities department. So the big hitters seemed to be attached.
And we still don't have a free cash number yet, so it's hard to
Right.
start chiseling all that stuff in stone. But, and, you know, years ago, it used to be the selectmen that would decide whether something went out for a ballot or not, because they would be the ones that would have to develop the ballot. But now that seems to all come from the town administrator these days as to what he recommends and so forth. It seems like there's less and less hands-on, the detailed hands-on
Yeah.
in the budget that used to be there basically 2 decades ago. You know, I go back, so. But, no, this is, I'll just keep saying it, I really have very few issues with this one at all, especially when you hold it up against the last decade of ones we've gotten. I mean, the year of the COVID one, we actually voted a capital outlay plan first based on the previous year's capital outlay plan with the new year's added at the end, and submitted it and said, unless you have one, this is our plan. The selectmen at their very next meeting voted one, too, because they were like, we can't let this happen. It's like, hey, we have to have something in the warrant for, you know, a vote and everything, and it was our last chance before the warrant was gonna be printed, so.
Well, and 2 years ago, when I did the article meeting, that we, right up until that meeting, and including that meeting, we were still having a debate over a couple of items and how they would or would not be in the plan. Hopefully we don't have to deal with that again, but
Right,
we shall see, have this, but this package, yes, it's not just the liners that you
right,
summarized
that's just
to
how
it,
I
that
track
they-
them, but yeah.
That he
voting
very nicely laid out the components,
As the
by
we-
component.
as the warrant actually gets developed, we'll put in article numbers next to the things that have to be funded, and the source of funding will be there as well, so. And I did prepare an FY '27 budget. I'll send this out electronically to everybody, but it gives you the blank column to start putting budget figures in if you want to. And as soon as you do, it will compare it to last year's budget right away, and you'll have a plus or minus
Wonderful.
right away for you, so.
I think
I
last
did
year
that
we were supposedly going to get somebody else trained on this, so that they'd be ready, that if Dana decides that his next trip is in Australia or
I'll
something.
just note that I'm getting older.
Well, that's why I bring it up.
Yeah.
I hate to talk about our getting older, but we really do need someone who can do this stuff. I mean, it's wonderful that you continue to volunteer to do this and do an excellent job.
And again, I did it starting originally when I was on the select board, which was known then as the Board of Selectmen. We won't go
Times
over that
change.
ground again. But I did it as a double check against the town administrator. And I would find errors that I made in preparing it, and then I would find errors that the town administrator made, usually a formula error. And if you recall, last year, there was a formula error where the town administrator was off by $100,000.
Exactly. And I've done the
And-
same. I've taken your spreadsheet and entered from the columnar summary sheet that comes from the town, and found out that it doesn't foot at times.
Right, right.
And you go, well,
Where is it?
why does the total not agree to all
Yeah.
the pieces?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so-
that's why mine are pretty simple in that I don't have places where there's subtotals and things like, it's just like, this column adds up to this.
Yep. Does it
And,
add to the right total or not, to the same
yeah,
total
yeah.
or not?
Yeah, so, again, I did it for myself, and it's been over 30 years now that I've been doing it. And
You do, and
it's
Excel
pretty
still,
easy
Excel
stuff
still
now.
works.
but
Yeah,
back then I
it still
used to-
works.
30 years, are you that old?
That,
Yeah, I know it, just a kid.
Maybe it dates
started
back to
doing it at 9
VisiCalc.
years old.
No, well, I went to Lotus School in Cambridge, so
Yeah,
back when
yeah,
it wasn't
back when Lotus was
Excel
there in
then.
Cambridge.
Lotus, wow.
Lotus 1, 2, 3 in
Whoa.
Cambridge by the
Wow.
people who developed it. They're the ones that.
I go back to VisiCalc,
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and bringing VisiCalc into a business.
yeah. So,
Yes, exactly, before Lotus actually built its plant next to where I was. Let's go and move on. Dan, do you have any particular items that you
Everything
saw
was
in the review?
copacetic to me. I couldn't offer any advice. No.
Yep. Tina?
The only thing I had was what Dana had. Looking at Harwich Elementary School, I feel like I want to follow up with Monomoy, because I'm looking at this is a draft of their capital projects, which I sent to all of you.
yeah,
And there is, and I don't know what their decision was on this, but there was a boiler. There was like an option 1 and option 2. And Harwich Elementary had a boiler on the list with if they went forward, and then the option 2, it was off. So I don't know. I'm going to assume with a 0 that maybe they went with option 2 and stalled it out another year. So that was my one question.
Okay, so again,
Yeah.
on the schools, actually the schools in general, but specifically the elementary school.
Well, yeah, for this, yes.
And again, maybe this will be clarified at the presentation.
Exactly.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
because we're responsible, per the regional agreement, we're responsible for Harwich Elementary School, so,
Well, and
well,
we,
for the capital piece, yeah. Well, for that piece as a whole.
we're responsible for 100% of
We-
that piece.
Yes, 100%
We-
per the regional agreement, yes.
We're only responsible for 76% of
For the other
anything
bit.
else.
Yes, for the other bit. But that was my, and then, of course, they're voting tonight. I was just, they've got a big meeting tonight, and I know that this is separate from the capital projects, but they're looking at their draft budget, and I know the select board is there tonight in quorum. So
So it's a joint meeting
well,
or just an attendance?
it's an attendance, they posted for attendance so that they can speak. I guess
Yeah.
they're gonna offer them public comment, so,
Oh, okay.
so they posted, there are 4 select board members there tonight.
Oh, okay.
And they're presenting their draft budget, their first draft budget, so I will watch that recording
Okay.
and see what's happening.
Well, exactly, to see,
Yeah.
and perhaps can tell in advance whether they did vote a capital plan.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yep.
Scott, did you have any comments on the capital outlay plan that was distributed previously? No, I'm not hearing you.
Yeah,
Muted.
You're on mute.
There you go.
We, as you know, we met yesterday. Unfortunately, I had to leave before the 5-year plan was discussed, but I was there for all of the votes on the individual projects for fiscal '27. And there was unanimous approval for all projects, except for this update of the zoning maps, which was a favorable vote, but it was 4-2, with two negative votes. Tony did mention when it comes to funding of the '27 capital budget, that there are still some moving pieces, obviously free cash, but also the split between exempt debt and regular debt is something that he's going to take a look at once the operating budget settles down. Obviously, if there's more room in the operating budget, he'll be able to fit more in the regular debt category and less in the exempt debt. So those are the parts of the funding piece of the '27 budget that are still in flux.
Where is this zoning item you're mentioning?
It's under the planning department. Second to last page.
Oh, okay, redo of the town zoning maps, yep.
$100,000, yeah.
The version that we have actually still had 0 in it. If I'm reading this right. The version the only version that we were sent, which now dates back 6 weeks or so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I could always send that to you, but that one is in fact on the meeting portal, the town's meeting portal. You could get it from there, or if you want, I could send it around right after this meeting.
Thank you very much.
I'll do that. Is that okay for me to distribute it to the entire committee?
Well, if it's a public document,
Yep, okay. I'll do
and
that.
it's not asking for any response.
Right, just information, yep.
It's possible that something was done budget-wise there or something like that, and they decided they didn't need to include it in the capital plan.
Because they had it lined out anyway, so, so this all got voted, so actually, is that a meeting, is last night's meeting available on YouTube or some such place?
It usually takes a couple days, so probably not right now, but probably at least by Monday it'll be available, I'm sure.
Okay. Otherwise though, as far as you know, you don't have any specific line items on here that were troubling you?
No, I don't. Obviously, the huge projects that are right around the corner, like the Public Works shed, and the new well for the water department and their new building on Chatham Road, those are going to be a challenge for the resulting debt service, whether it's exempt debt or not, in terms of the impact on the tax bills. But, we, as a committee, we saw both of those facilities. We see the need. It seems pretty unavoidable. I did push Tony to try and think if there was a way of consolidating the water department storage shed with the DPW storage shed. And he really doesn't think that that's a feasible option, and he doesn't think it would save that much money anyway, because all the water department vehicles right now that building is gonna be replaced on site, right next to their offices, and it would be quite a lot of staff time burned in, actually traveling over there to the DPW if we explore that sort of a consolidating option. So I'm pretty comfortable with the plan, but I'm still somewhat in the dark as to what the operating budget impact is going to be. And I'll save comments about the 5-year plan, the 5-year forecast for a little later under new business. But it all goes back to that and the lack of a really updated 5-year forecast to see what this capital plan is going to do to the operating budget. So that's my main concern.
Yep. Okay. Having no other specific comments, again, that hopefully hopefully we'll see a distribution actually prior to December 22nd of the content that's going to be put up, and that, again, that everybody that can attend, and both of our committee members and anyone else that wants to participate, be ready for the December 22nd Select Board meeting, which is, I guess, the Monday after next.
Can I ask a question just about process? So
Yes, ma'am.
So when we go to the 22nd, if we have quorum, then we'll post the meeting. But if we don't have quorum in a case like that, what happens? Are you just the spokesperson?
Well, if I can't if I'm reasonably assured, I mean, everything is still verbal, you know, that somebody could say they're coming and then have disaster strike and not have enough people. But if I'm going to contact town administration tomorrow, I guess, because they just asked for an update on whether or not we expected to have a quorum there, and inform them of what I know as of tomorrow, and I think that'll come out to being a quorum, in which case both parties, us and Select Board, will post a joint meeting as opposed to not a joint meeting. And if not, if for some reason I believe that that's not true, then they won't post a joint meeting, but we can certainly attend as part of the public, or as part of Finance Committee that is also part of the public, and see if in fact the Select Board deigns to open the meeting up for comment from Finance Committee members, the general public, whoever.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I found in my experience that it's better to just post it
Yeah, that's what I
either
was
way.
gonna say.
And
Yeah.
just, because we are going in there officially as a group, and whether we have a quorum or not, that's gonna come out right then and there. To say we do not have a quorum, but we are properly posted for this meeting, and we'll be gathering information, we just won't be taking any votes.
And I suspect that that's the way I will tell town administration to post
Yeah,
it that
yeah.
way, yes.
Because it's just a much better way in terms of the process of gathering the information. When did you find all this out? Well, we went to the meeting, it was a posted
Right.
meeting, and
Right.
Okay, so
I think that that's exactly what I'll do. If I was only getting responses from 2 people, it was not necessarily quite as easy. And well, that's what it was getting to, was the old thing called a telephone was starting to get back into play here. Exactly.
telephone tree.
Pardon?
So I said the telephone tree, back in the day.
Yes, back in the day.
Yeah. Okay,
So anyway.
so I was just trying to understand, so if we don't have a quorum and say we can ask questions, right?
Certainly, yeah.
But we just can't deliberate, like we can't, so I just wanted to understand how it
We're not gonna
worked.
take a vote that
We're
night.
not, we're not
anyway.
going to deliberate regardless.
Although,
Right, right.
yes, I know we won't deliberate, but sometimes if there's back and forth, people say, oh, they're deliberating. But anyway, I just wanted to understand the process.
And even if
Yeah.
we voted that night, we have right up until
Yeah,
town meeting the night of
okay,
to
okay,
change our vote.
okay.
And have probably
We could
done
change
so.
our vote at the head
Yeah.
table just before the article comes up, you know.
Okay,
that's-
all right.
Again, we have had years where, as Dana was saying, where it has been an adventure. Just the capital outlay plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay?
thank you.
Oh, that's right, I do have, we'll come back to the timeline. I'm looking for approval of 2 sets of minutes. The minutes from our meeting on the 13th and the minutes from the joint meeting on the 10th
Move to approve the minutes of the 10th and the 13th
of November,
of November.
2025.
That's the one.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Do we have any discussion? Scott? No?
Oh.
Okay.
I'm good.
Then I will take a vote, and we'll take it by
Roll call.
roll call. There's the word, by roll call. Scott?
Aye, both minutes.
Dana?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Tina?
Aye.
Bob? Aye. 5-0.
Taking care of business.
Taking care of business. All right, I put the budget timeline discussion on here just, again, for as far as I know, based upon my last look at that document that comes out of town administration, the 2-pager that continues the timeline, that it still looks like, last time I looked, like it is basically following the same dating and timeline that it has been tracking against, and filling in as line items have been worked on, become complete. I did not particularly notice anything new, but that's why I put it on here, so that we can get any comments that are relevant. Dana?
I would think with the, how ahead of the game they are and how things are progressing along, that, so that we have it on the record, we should vote our budget. I don't know if there's been any changes in it over the past year or so, but we generally have had the same budget for quite a few years in a row. And I would think that we would want to make any adjustments and vote it as soon as possible, because they're gonna want that in the record as well. They're not gonna just wanna put in numbers for us.
And speaking of which, I was sent the Munis version of our spending for the year. Our budget, for anyone who's not familiar, apparently was part-time staff, salaries and wages, $3,000, office supplies, $250, dues subscriptions, dues subscriptions, travel, $1,750, a total of $5,000 is the budget that the town has had in Munis and has worked against. At the moment, each line item has been underspent as of the moment, and as of the moment, or as of their printing, this was done 12/10, we have $4,000 of the 5 left. As of their
There's, the money still hasn't come out yet, they're behind, but the money for people attending, $65
Yeah.
that was voted for each one. has-
Yeah, and that
That
goes to
will
them,
go
yeah,
against it,
so it
yeah.
doesn't route through us.
a
Okay.
heavy hitter.
But I just think, I don't think, I mean, we have enough evidence this year and over the years to know that that's a very safe and budget to level fund it, and if you wanted to take that step, we could.
I'm just trying to think as to whether we could go ahead and vote it. It's not, but we didn't put it as a specific line item in the agenda, but it's just ours.
It's
not-
part of the
it's
budget timeline.
part of the- Well, it's part of the budget timeline.
And everybody's
but
been
it's-
notified that they need to submit a budget.
And it's only the committee within the committee.
Right.
It's not a third party
And it's, as we said, can be changed.
item.
But at least you would have something to send in to TA to
That is correct.
say, you know, for us, you can, unless anybody had an objection and we wanted to change the numbers, this is what we have.
I'm willing to go ahead and do that.
Do you want a motion?
I need a motion.
I would move that we, the Finance Committee approves a budget of salary and wages, $3,000, expenses, $2,000, and reserve fund, $125,000.
I'll second.
We have a second.
Sure.
And the reserve fund number is what was voted last year, correct?
Yeah.
That is no change
Right.
to current. Any comment? Scott, any comment on voting
Sounds
on
good.
the Finance Committee budget?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. We'll do again a vote by roll call. Scott?
Aye.
Dana?
Aye.
Aye.
Dan? Tina?
I,
Bob? Aye. Okay.
That way we have something on record if it's needed.
Yep.
Yep. $125,000 reserve.
Vegas, no.
That's what was finally agreed to, was the 125. Yeah. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Any other comments on the budget timeline at the moment? That,
I don't really have any, I guess they changed, hold on, I just had it open. So I don't really have anything. I know we're meeting on the 22nd, but for some reason, I thought it was the 29th, but then I guess they changed the 20th to the 22nd for Monday's joint meeting. Unless I've got,
Unless there's two different joint meetings.
is it two different joint meetings?
I don't know.
I just had it, hold on, I just had it in my other little section.
no,
I'm trying to keep up with the timeline.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
It was
okay.
previously identified for
It's
the 29th,
Okay,
and they are a little,
so they're moving it up, basically.
they are moving it
Okay,
up.
all right, that was what I, yeah, and I, yeah, okay. All right,
That's correct. And it could be,
Bob?
yes,
So I'm looking at the timeline now online from the Select Board website, and it looks like for the operating budget, the key deadline is January 5th, presentation by the town administrator to the Select Board of the operating budget. That's the first place I see chronologically that there's an official presentation of the operating budget.
So it's a good thing we voted
I
now.
yeah.
I'm sorry, what's the question, Scott?
Well, the question is, are we going to be able to see any work in progress in between now and then? And even on the 5th, the only way we're going to see this is just by looking at the meeting packet online? I assume it's going to be in the packet at that point, so a few days before January 5th?
I believe that that's true, yes. I
Okay.
believe you are correct.
Sounds reasonable.
Well, and then they start spending, they kind of get a presentation, and then they work on the presentation for a month.
Right.
Basically. So it's a starting point, meaning
Yeah.
the town administrator has compiled, reviewed, negotiated, whatever, and come up with a product.
Yeah, the reason I ask is that when we start evaluating that budget proposal, it would be very useful, we've talked about this before, but it would be extremely useful to see the mid-year results for the current year and alongside the same period of last year. In other words, 6 months of fiscal 25, 6 months of fiscal 26, to get a feel for how we're doing in the current year as a way of, a framework for evaluating the fiscal 27 budget. And I just don't know if that's something we should or can request from Tony, that we see those, basically those 3 or 4 columns of operating budget results. We've talked about this at previous finance committee meetings before.
It's usually
And,
something that,
you know, to give them a chance to prepare it for us, if they decide they want to give us that information, might be good to ask for it now instead of when it becomes available in the first couple of weeks in January.
Dana?
it's, those have come to us in the past, and when they have, it's always been a munis report. So you need that score sheet that tells you what the number in munis means in terms of our budget. It's
Yep.
kind of a double
Yeah.
vision kind of thing,
Yep.
but, if we put the request in, I'm sure we could have that in time for the 5th or prior to the 5th, that you could just send out to it, because it's an electronic thing, you could just
Yeah,
send it out electronically. As
Right.
soon as the budget shows up in the packet, I populate this one and I'll send that around to people, from my desk, so that you'll have a copy of that as well, so you can at least see line by line, plus or minus, what was there last year to what was there this year.
Yep.
I have one more question, only because I'm thinking of Monomoy tonight, and so my understanding of the Monomoy and how that's factored in, so there's a placeholder, is that, when we're looking at the operating budget, so do they put the placeholder, like how, they put the placeholder in, is my understanding of it, until we start to get into what Monomoy's budget is. In my understanding, town administrator presents operating budget, so the operating budget would include Monomoy or would not?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, he's gonna do one for the government side, so if you look at the way, there'll be a subtotal for the government side,
Okay,
and I'll give you this here.
okay,
But then there's, they kind of put in last year's Barnstable County Retirement, Group Health, OPEB, that kind of thing, and they just put in usually 2.5% increase, because that's kind of what the county
yeah,
does every year. And then the state and county assessments, the overlay committee will have a recommendation, the assessing committee will have a recommendation on the overlay, and then, the water all comes after that, but it's all subtotaled.
okay,
This is what he has to present.
I
But
gotcha,
for informational
Okay.
purposes, he'll have direct contact with any votes the school
Right.
has taken, or he'll have the best guess from the superintendent
okay,
as to what he's submitted.
right.
So those numbers will be available to us
Okay.
then.
All right, I just wanted to
But-
make sure, because that was my understanding from the other, when I was on the other side of this, that there was a placeholder, because you have to have something, right? So there was a placeholder based on whatever they're doing tonight, and that's why the select board is there, I believe. So they'll have a placeholder, and that'll have to, so the 5th, we're gonna be looking at, or at least for me, I'm curious, like, what is the placeholder for Monomoy? So I guess I'll know that on the 5th, if not before.
Right.
Okay, all right,
But
I
as,
just, yeah,
as Dana said, as a practical matter, the items that should be presented as being the actual request are the items down to that cutoff line, are the town budgets.
okay.
That's why if
yep.
he didn't have anything official from us, he'd just put in last year's numbers
Right,
until we
'cause he
came
has
in
to
and
put
said,
something in.
oh, by the way, we wanna do this, you know?
Yeah, okay, all
So,
right,
Okay?
all right. That's all.
So again, as Dana just indicated, there are a number of line items that continue to be in flux.
Okay.
Not in a variety of ways, particularly anything that's outside of the town's control, period.
I mean, if you remember right at that state meeting,
Mm-hmm,
in the thing on, the insurances, they said, you know, we recommend you put in 15%.
Yeah.
Normally you put
Yeah.
10 and hope for 3 or 4 or less than 8. They recommended put in 15%, and you better hope it's not 18. So
Right, exactly, exactly.
that's what was told to all of us
Yeah.
at the state meeting. And I just had an update, like I said, I had an update earlier late last week. Members of the state committee went to Boston and sat with a Senate committee on the budget and talking about local aid. And we were all at the meeting, some of us remotely and some of us in Boston. And they're still saying that the local aid will probably be level funded or reduced. They're not saying it will be increased this year. And that document that I gave you, one of the big things that's causing stress on all the towns is when they go up only 1% or 1.6% or different, what they've done lately, or not at all, with the 2.5 pressure, that puts more and more, in other words, we have less money to spend because of inflation and all those kinds of things exceeding what they have been giving to the towns. And they've also got, $9 billion in reserves they're sitting on,
Yep.
that they're kind of holding out this year to find out what the feds do to them, because right now the federal government doesn't like our state.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not sure they like any states.
well,
It's
that's-
getting
yeah,
fuzzier and fuzzier.
the other states are starting to figure that out.
Yeah, and just kind of going back to the insurance and all of that other stuff, I do, because so the town's gonna do their thing with their staff. But then Monomoy, who is the biggest employer, it's the biggest employer, so they already got a warning that everything's gonna be high, so that's gonna have to be factored into the Monomoy budget. So it's gonna be interesting to follow that process, because they are having to put a higher percentage in than they've ever had to put in. So, anyway,
Yeah.
I'm just sharing that piece of it, to see how that affects the budget we get from Monomoy. Because
Right.
there's gonna be a huge,
Well,
anyway,
I think because of probably in participants' shorter term history, using the word ever on increases in health insurance.
well, that's, yeah, you never know.
It's chancy. You go back and
Yeah.
we've had some pretty
Well,
outrageous,
that's, yeah.
the country has had some pretty outrageous increases in things like health insurance over the years.
Yeah,
Dana, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just, you did give us a copy of this
yeah,
budget, and I really appreciate it. I
Yeah, yeah.
went through it and stuff. But in the narrative, it seems like there are many different areas where there are pressures.
right,
There's the contracts due, there's the insurance,
Yep.
there's building needs, all these kinds of things. And their solution in all of the narratives was, we're just gonna have to ask for more money. And the whole cause and effect of a reduced enrollment hasn't impacted anything at all, so you're right, it is gonna be interesting what they try to put in front of the public this year.
and it's being the draft budget is being presented tonight. So
Mm.
that's why
Yeah.
the select board is there, so we can get a
Yeah.
heads up on, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's
anyway,
it's gonna
I'm
be interesting.
very curious to see the recording.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess let's see if there are other topics that anyone wants to bring up that we can discuss.
I
Dana?
got one.
Well, hold on, Scott. Dana?
This is my last meeting in person for a while, and I'll be doing all my stuff remotely, but I can promise you one thing, I won't let you down.
Okay.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
You're good,
I'm fine.
Tina?
Yeah.
No, and
I don't, I
yes,
think
you-
I was just going
you-
to talk a little bit about Monomoy, but I think we've worked that in, so.
Okay.
yeah.
Scott, the floor is yours.
So, I thought I'd let all of you know that, Tony followed through on his promise to find the latest 5-year operating forecast, which I had never seen. And he's posted it on the Select Board website, right under that, link that's called Town Meeting, May 4th, 2026. So you can take a look at that. It's not his work. It's dated January 31st, 2025. It's a pretty frightening forecast. It seems to be kind of not mindless, but not a very sophisticated forecast. It's kind of an extrapolation with percentage increases in the far right-hand column that just says that, salaries and wages will grow, or administration will grow at 4%. It has lines, obviously, for Proposition 2.5 levy, exempt debt service, new growth is like $500,000 a year, but it shows an ever-increasing deficit. And now it's out there on a public website. So it seems kind of an interesting contrast between, the Chronicle article that says that the town's budget is solid, its finances are solid, and yes, that's true looking backwards, obviously. Balanced budgets and significant free cash results. But looking forward, it's rather frightening. And I did ask Tony, I wrote a note to him and I thanked him for posting it as soon as I had noticed it was up there. And I just asked him, I haven't heard back, but I asked him, when do you think you will start working to update the forecast? Anyway, just a big fat FYI.
Thank you very much. Dana?
Just anecdotally, that's the first one you've seen. I saw my first one in 1995, January, and it hasn't changed. They're all the same. You can easily say that the items that you have in a budget are gonna go up by percentages, but it's extremely difficult to then put in the columns for revenues and say they're gonna go up to match that or meet that. It's an inherent problem with those 5-year forecasts. It's been there forever, and when I got on the board, the other members had well over 20 years combined on the board. And so they were very experienced at what was going on. And when I raised the same question that you're raising now, they were like, yeah, they're all like this, even in their experience that predated me by so many years, 10, 12 years for them. They were able to say, yeah, that's the way they all look and always have and probably always will. Which is why I personally haven't been pursuing it as much as you have, because I know what the answer is going to be.
Right.
So it's just my own, it doesn't help us to fill in these columns. It's the revenue, you can't put in you have to put in a balanced budget. So you can't put in a budget that has a deficit in it anyways. So even if the deficit is there in a future year, you're gonna have to have a
Something would have to
budget
change.
that matches it, right? So,
Right.
In my experience, and if you recall, I was the audit director of state ed, and we audited school districts. For the most part, we found school districts would just roll the deficit into the following year until it really reached a point where they had to do something. And in some cases, I know in one case, they went to Uncle Joe Bruno, and Uncle Joe Bruno, who was the head of the Senate Finance Committee, appropriated $5 million to bail them out.
Well, in our little town of Harwich, it may be a different kind of issue.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who is
Yeah.
Uncle Bruno?
We will see.
But
We are
some organizations just fail to address the issue and just roll the deficit forward. And
Well, we do
That's
have
not a
to
good
have,
thing.
we do have to have a balanced budget. We can't,
We do.
we
Yep.
don't operate on a
Right.
No.
different basis.
Yeah.
absolutely.
and a lot of the state presentation that we went to, and Sharon, talked a lot about the towns that have tried to fix these things with an override, a permanent override,
Mhm,
and failed.
Well, there were a couple this week, there was a couple in the last week or 2 weeks, because this is special town meeting season.
Yeah,
And I know one in today's paper, yesterday's paper, that passed. Actually, I guess it was a town with 2 articles, a bigger one and a smaller one. The smaller one passed, the bigger one failed.
yeah,
But their history had been consistently to reject overrides,
right.
something like 6 times, so
Yeah.
6 or 7 times over the last 20 years. And this one has finally passed. Clearly, even the townsfolk had gotten to a point of saying that it doesn't work anymore without a different base to tax off of.
And when we went through that in 2005, it was after I left the select board.
Yeah, right around then.
The first article failed, and a smaller one was presented at the last minute in June, and that one passed. And that also feeds to the fact that the general public oftentimes don't trust that number that they're being given. Oh, we can't live unless we have this much money.
Right.
Okay, we'll live with this much money now.
Right.
You know, they don't trust that figure that they're thrown at first as we have to have this to survive. And then they say no to it, and they say, okay, well, we'll have a new number to survive with in just a minute. And that adds to it. It just, overrides are not the way to go. You just gotta start saying no to things when you fill out this number and it comes up to a number that we can't pay, then you gotta say, okay,
Well,
we had
and-
one year
and-
where we told that we want 2.5% increase, we want a 2.5% decrease, and we want a level funded budget.
Right.
And we put it all together until this is what we had.
And as you said, people, with regard to the schools, people have legitimate questions when they can see any graph, including ones the school puts out, about continually declining enrollment. And seeing a continually increasing budget and a continually declining enrollment, and at least speculate on the question, gee, this doesn't really work,
Right.
this doesn't really sit well with me. It's a tough topic.
And one of the things we'll wanna ask for is the October 1st figures
Yeah,
for
those
the
are
past,
out, yep.
for the past 5 years, and just say, okay. Because usually they'll say, well, when you lose a few students, it doesn't make that much difference.
Yep.
But over the course of 5 years, if you've lost 100 students, that should make a difference,
In a region our size.
Yeah.
Which 100 is a big number.
Yeah.
In-
School district budgets are tough to deal with, because if you get a decrease in enrollment like that, you have to lay off teachers.
Yeah.
That does not bode well.
And when
Yeah, it
one of
doesn't
the,
bode-
when one of the
yeah.
overrides failed that we were presented,
Yeah.
they laid off 50
Yeah, they did, they let off.
people.
But just a couple of comments, because again, coming from the other side of this prior to sitting in this seat, and these are questions that I probably will be looking at around the declining enrollment is special ed, special education, the out of district. There's a lot of numbers, like we can have declining enrollment and we can all decide, it's like walking into a restaurant saying, I'll sit over there, but there's no server over there. So I think that there's some questions I will be asking about, to the best of their ability, can they give us some special education numbers, some out-of-district numbers? Because a lot of that determines some of this budget. It's not as easy as numbers, we can let teachers go sometimes, but what's going on with special ed?
Special ed is a tough nut.
Yeah,
You get a kid coming into the school district in a wheelchair that has to have an aid.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
costing that district $100,000.
Yeah, yeah, and I remember when I came onto the school committee 7 years ago, and there was one student, it was $450,000 just for that one student
Yeah.
to go out of
Oh,
district.
yeah.
And that fell to Harwich, so
Yeah.
these are things that I will be asking and seeing what kind of clarity we can get, around those numbers. And the other thing, if you don't mind, cause Scott was looking at the 5-year projection, I thought it was really interesting. Hold on, I got little windows open. They've got for Monomoy, and this was based on the acting town administrator. So he had a projected increase of 5%. So I guess he's carrying that over. So there's a projected increase. And then I look at the town department budgets, and they're showing a 4% projected increase. And a lot of the other things are 2%, 2%. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting that there's already like a 5% projected increase, which I think Monomoy might be working. I don't know if that's come up in conversation with them, but I have heard just in my conversations because I'm the liaison, that they are trying to work within that 5% projected increase.
That's
So
easy.
yeah, so.
I approve it.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
it's gotta be less than that. In
yeah,
my-
so anyway, but I thought that was interesting that I saw it on this report, like this, and that is the number that I believe tonight's budget, I think, that they're presenting is gonna be within that 5%. So we'll see what happens.
Makes for
Yeah.
interesting conversation through the winter.
Yes,
That's true.
yes.
Speaking of which, just as a reminder, while we've been meeting on once a month, I can't, this is my first time in this seat, so I don't remember exactly, but I would assume that come February and March, we'll need to have more than one.
Oh, yeah.
We will need to have multiple meetings in February and March
Yeah.
to be able to meet our deadlines.
Yeah.
Just so that
Okay,
at least the 5 of us are warned.
And if and in those situations, a lot of times it's in order to hear from a particular group, like the police department or the fire department or something like that. In this case, it might be highway, or the petition articles, things like that. And for those things, if it turns out that the committee gets a pretty good pace going.
Yep.
And if it turns out that you don't have a quorum on those nights, then you don't take any votes. You're just bringing in the information anyways.
Yep.
And we rarely voted, say, petition articles the night that they were presented to us. We would usually wait until the next, but occasionally somebody would really come in and basically get everybody upset. And we would vote against it that night, but that's happened in the past. But there's also some we've approved in the past.
And just so people understand that in terms of having people come, and at least from my time experience here, that having people come in to present to us, that in the amount of time that we have, we can do that for essentially major departments. That we're not going to have every line item on the budget likely be able to come and engage in us, I suspect.
Yeah, but if you happen to have the major ones and they come in at 2% or 3%, and you say, well, under these circumstances, that's just fine with us.
Yep.
But somebody, another department comes in at 8%, and it's like, well, what's going on in this one? That might be the one you want to see.
Even though it's relatively
Even though
smaller.
it's a smaller amount. I
Yep.
mean, because as I used to say, you start adding up the dollars and eventually you get to a budget,
And we have, in the last couple of years anyway, 2 or 3 years, had unfilled staffing playing a significant role in the finance. Needless to say, staff costs are most of the money regardless in the operating budget. And when we have had as much open professional job, budgeted jobs that we're dealing with, it really can create quite a problem with
Bit of
regard.
pressure, yeah.
Yeah, with regard to the budgeting, and we have had quite a bit of that lately,
Yeah.
so.
You're
Hopefully,
not only paying for professional help to make up the difference in some of the departments.
yeah,
You're paying, right now, they're planning on having the new town administrator in time for the temporary town administrator to still be here, so you'll be paying two people.
yeah,
There's stuff like that just happens. It just, the amount of turnover we've had causes problems. There's just no way around it, but it has.
Yes.
Speaking of turnover, I understand we have a new finance director.
Yep.
And who's official. So is that, like, what would be the process? I mean, is she able to join a meeting unless, I don't know how, it would be kind of nice to just chat with her a little bit. I don't know, is that appropriate at this stage?
I'm not,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our chair would go
Abs-
through the TA and
Okay.
ask
yeah,
if,
Yeah.
I mean, it's conceptually appropriate,
Okay,
but by I don't even know what date, whether she has started or is due to start, or what
okay.
exactly was set up, but yes, we have, the charter uses funny terms about this. They don't just hire and terminate people, they call it something else. But anyway, we have engaged a finance director anyway.
Yeah.
And yes, we can find out, I mean,
maybe she could come to the January meeting.
yeah,
or
Yeah.
regular
that's
meeting.
right.
Yeah,
And,
that would be
again,
nice.
when she actually gets started, and she may even want to find out what nasty people we are.
Oh, I don't think so. We were on our, we were.
And another
yeah. And another thing. And I guess the other, since she's just now coming on, I know this will go, and I guess we're in the process of the town administrator as well, but,
Yeah.
it would be nice to establish, like, quarterly, I think we were talking about this, just even quarterly, for her to come to just regular meetings, for an update, for us to check in. I don't know.
Well, it certainly would be.
Yeah.
And that is a invite that we can make.
Yeah,
It really depends a lot on the person, but,
Yeah.
we had Dave, he used to come to
Dave
FinCom
Ryan.
meetings.
Yeah,
He
used
did
to,
it for 5 years, he used
Oh,
to
okay.
come to all of ours if he
Oh,
could make it,
okay.
unless he was doing something
Yeah.
or whatever, but he would even let us know if he couldn't be there and stuff, but
Oh, that
you
would-
remember Dave Ryan?
Carol was my first experience. Yeah.
Actually, Dan May from CPC.
The what?
Dave Ryan?
Remember Dave Ryan from CPC
Yeah,
times? Yeah.
Well, my feeling is that we have a duty and a responsibility to oversee the finances of the town. And that requires us to get updates, if you will, from the finance director. No doubt in my mind.
And her name is Jennifer Mintz, and she started on December 1st.
Yes, I got the impression, I thought she had started, that was my
Yeah.
impression, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it would be nice, to get to know her and
Well,
establish a relationship.
well, we
If
charge our
something goes
chair to,
awry-
Yeah, we charge our chair,
to
if
go
something
through
goes
Yes.
awry with town finances,
yeah.
people are going to say, well, where was the finance committee?
Yeah, and we're gonna give him
Yeah.
your name.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
That's why I want
Well, Dan missed
a
that.
briefing from the finance
It just
director.
blew by us, We didn't have the 5-year forecast yet, I
There
don't
you
know.
go. All right,
I think we've exhausted it,
I
Mr.
think we
Chair.
have to,
Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn,
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Anyone opposed
Oh.
will stay.
Yes.
But as Mark Amaris did remind me, and somebody may turn the button.
Oh, yeah,
that-
we need to turn the
Yeah.
button.
Yep.
That, not to have conversation after we have adjourned.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly, yes.
Good evening.